Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality, and today I'm going to show you how to make a little golden book junk journal. This is going to be a first in a series. I'm going to show you today the things that I pulled together for my journal, and then go ahead and show you or start making the cover of my journal. So I wanted to use this little golden book Barbie book, and this one is, I believe it is vintage. It's not like super vintage. I'm not sure if it has 2004, so almost vintage. So I have this one. I also have this Barbie book. This one's a little bit older, but I will be using more colors that go with this, more of the primaries with red and blue and green. But I just wanted to show you that I will be making a second Barbie Little Golden Book Junk Journal. For this one, I have the Swan Lake one. And then I'll go ahead and show you the stuff I gathered for it. And then also today I will show you how to get started with making the cover. This one I'm going to make 3 signatures. I had my friend Emily from Emily's Paper Caper had asked me to do a tutorial on that a long time ago, but I was getting ready to move then, and so now, yeah, I wanted to show you how to do that. I have several of my journals that I make for my Etsy shop are using Little Golden Book Junk journals, but I don't think I've ever done an actual tutorial on how to do it. So yeah, so I'm going to use this one. I love anything ballet since my daughter is a dancer. She especially loved ballet, so I thought this was perfect. And then I've gathered a bunch of pink things, as much as I could find. I have a couple lunch sacks here. I found this at the Dollar Tree. It says "Get It Girl." These were some ribbons that I had. I found these at the Dollar Tree. Thought they were super cute. And also these, so I bought 2. I'll probably use that in the other one too, even though it's pink. But I can use the card as well as the envelope in there. I found this at the Dollar Tree. Just thought it was really pretty. There's dots and flowers in the pink. It's the tissue paper. I also found these at the Dollar Tree. I took the back off of this one because I took it to the store to find some fabric, but I couldn't believe they had these little packs at the Dollar Tree. So what I'm going to do is, for each book, I'm going to make charms out of one of the pairs of shoes and one of the purses, and then I'm also going to use the packaging in the journal. I gathered these ribbons and rickrack and some twine. These 2 are from the Dollar Tree, and that one was from Hobby Lobby. This one, I'm not sure where. And then I have some pink tickets. I have this other little thing from, I think this was from Walmart a long time ago, but I'll use that pink ribbon there. I have some pink round doilies and a couple white heart ones, some pink cards, some pink money, and then this, I think my friend Tara gave me this. They are Barbie paper dolls, which are awesome. Open them up here, and I'll use some of these in both books. Hopefully there's 2 dolls in here. Let's see, there may just be 1. Ah, darn it. Get the tape off that. Okay, so there's, maybe it looks like there's just 1. No, there's 2. Yay. So maybe this one I'll use in the one book, with the primaries, and then Barbie with the blonde hair in the other one. And then it's got several really awesome clothes that came with it. Looks like this was from the 70s, obviously. Really cool. There's that one. These are really cute. So that's that part of it. There's some other ones here that are in the bag. Here is the fabric that I chose. This was from Hobby Lobby, so I used this combination of on the spine and the background, or the back of the book. I also have a couple Wilton cake decorating books. My mom used to make cakes, and she made me a Barbie cake at one time where you use the big Pampered Chef mixing bowl and you bake it in there and then stick the Barbie body in the top. So I think there's a page in here that I will pull out to use in there. It's in here somewhere, but these are really cool. I have two, and I think there's another Barbie page in here too, but you'll see that as we assemble the pages. And then I have a couple different Barbie. Here's another paper doll book that I haven't punched out. This one looks like maybe the 80s. Yeah, I think that's definitely the 80s. This one has, kind of looks like, yeah, there's Ken and Barbie. Or no, this is Derek. I don't know who Derek is. He's in the Barbie Rockers, evidently. And there's a couple other ones back here, too. Dee Dee, Dana, and Diva. Alright. So that's awesome. I'll use that. And then I also have the Barbie Rockers Paint with Water. So I think these also my friend Tara gave me. I want to find some other Barbie books, but hadn't found them yet. I pulled out some just basic papers here. I'm probably going to dye some papers pink for this one. But here's some composition notebook, or not, manuscript paper and some grid paper. These papers I picked up at Hobby Lobby. I just thought this was fun, and I think that will go well with this one because it has the blue in it. Then I found some striped paper. I think I got 4 of those. And then some polka dot and heart paper. Hopefully this is the bright pink here. It kind of looks red from what I'm looking at it on my phone, but it might look better once I get it on the computer. So that is what I have gathered so far. As I said, I'll dye some regular copy paper pink to include in here as well, but let's just go ahead and I'll start working on the cover. Alright, what we're going to do is start off by taking your little golden book, and there's a couple of ways that you could do this. You could cut it right off at the seam here, or the fold. You can use like a blade. A box cutter is usually what I use, and a ruler. If you do it that way though, you have to cut your pages down or fold them depending on, you know, how far the wording goes. If you can afford to cut it, it looks like this. I could cut it if I want, and it wouldn't mess up too much because it doesn't look like a lot of the stuff on this side would be affected. So I could actually do that with this book. But what I'm going to show you how to do is keeping this edge here, and I think it will work on this because this is not one that has staples. A lot of times if there's staples in here, you end up ruining it when you pull it apart, and then you kind of have to go with cutting the cover down to the seam. So I'm going to try it this way, and if I end up messing it up, then I will just do it the other way and it'll be okay. So you'll want to gently pull this apart and just ease your way down. See, it just pulls. Unfortunately, this, you know, this is a lot easier with this kind without the staples. You just want to make sure you put your pressure towards this part and not back here, otherwise you'll rip that whole piece. There, so we got that all off. It's still intact here. We will add some, I'm going to use some of that twine and stick a piece, glue a piece in there to make it so it's level and a little more sturdy. So we have the front off. Now we're just going to pull the insides away from the back, and you'll want to do the same with it. Start at one end and just work your way down. Just keeping your thumb down as close as you can there so you don't end up ripping the paper or the cover part. Just go all the way down. So there you will have your inside covers or your inside pages, and I'm gonna see, usually little golden books have 2 signatures. Trying to see if this one does. I will be surprised if it doesn't. Oh, see, this has threads in there, so we're gonna have to cut the threads. This is actually the first time I've had a book like this with threads and no staples. I'm gonna grab a little tiny pair of my sewing scissors. So I have a seam ripper here. I also have these little tiny sewing scissors, but I think I'll just try the seam ripper and just go through. I don't know if you can see that it's sewn together. So I'm really interested now to see if it's all one signature or if there's still 2 signatures, because usually little golden books have 2 signatures, and there's three pages or 3 papers folded into 6 pages, I guess you'd say. But let's see what is in here. All right. Pull this apart. Need to just need to pull the other side out here. There. Okay, so there's one. Okay. So this is a pretty small book, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 pages in the whole book put together into one signature. So trying to think of how I could do this. Normally I add the pages in order, and I can still do that. So I don't know if I should do 4. Maybe I'll do 4 signatures and just put 1 page into each of the signatures. I think that I think that's what I'll do. Alright, so we have that separated. And I'll show you when I go, I think the second video in this series will be assembling the pages and then sewing it into the cover. So you'll see how I do that when I come to that video. Alright, so now we have our front and our back. I am going to trim off this scraggly part at the top of this. Just cut it down to the edge of the piece of chipboard that's in the spine. There we go. And I'll do that with this part. Okay. These away. Oops. Now I have these two fabrics as I showed you earlier, and I think I'm going to use this one for the spine and then this for the back cover to cover up this part, because this is a thicker fabric. This one I think is a little bit thinner. Yeah, I think you can probably see if I use this on the back. I would have to cover this with white paper or something, or paint it, but I think this one will work just fine on the back. So it's not as a sheer of a fabric. I think that will be okay. Yeah. So what I need to do is make the spine piece though. I have a piece of chipboard, and this, I didn't buy this. You can buy it on Amazon, and I totally do not know the weights of chipboards because I just haven't purchased it enough and compared the different weights. This one is not, it's not super thick, but I will need to double it up to kind of match the thickness of this. So that's what I would say is, if you have a piece of chipboard, just measure it with your book, and if it's thinner, just glue 2 or 3 depending on the thickness that you have, and it works just fine. I just use tacky glue, and I end up gluing them together and putting them under a bunch of heavy books so it doesn't buckle or anything like that, and it makes it super sturdy with using the tacky glue. But now we just want to mark this, or we can just measure it on our paper trimmer. These are 8 inches tall, so I'm going to cut it 2 inches wide and 8 inches tall, and I think I can cut it down this way. So first I'm going to cut this to 8 inches. And then I'll do a couple 2-inch strips. And then we'll glue that together. And then I can use what's left of that for the other Barbie book that I have once I get to that point. So I'm just going to use some tacky glue and just cover it all. I just want to press it down. And I think, yeah, so definitely want to put it under some heavy books just to keep it off nice and flat. And I'm just going to check this to make sure it's as thick. Yeah, I think that's a good thickness. And before I let this dry for a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and cut my fabric. So I'm going to lay this out. I always like just a little sliver of thickness or width, just so the cover bends easily. So you just want to lay it out like that, and then kind of line your fabric up. Find the edge here. I always just get like, this time I usually only get like 1/3 or 1/4 of a yard of fabric. So like, even if you can buy a fat quarter, that gives you plenty to make a couple different books depending on what you use the fabric for, if it's for the spine or for the back. But I just went ahead and got a 1/2 yard of each of these. So I think I'll go about that far in on the front cover. It's like 1/2 inch because I don't want to cover up too much. I want the Barbie to show, the Barbie logo. And then I can go a little bit further on the back of this. Well, actually we have this, so I can go a little bit further back. So I'll go right there so you can see all of the bee. So I forgot we had this piece here. And then I want to put the rickrack, I think. I'm going to have to test it and see if I like the color or not. Or I may go with a ribbon. This is kind of a bright, it is a Barbie pink. I have to find the edge, here it is. Alright. So I think that will look cute. So even if I put it there, it'll be fine. So I'll go there, and then I'll go to this cut right here. And I'll just go ahead and cut this strip off. And I need to grab some other scissors. Those aren't great. Alright, got my scissors that I always love. They always cut really nice. Leave me a comment down below if you have made a little golden book junk journal before, and let me know what theme you did. And are you going to go watch the new Barbie movie? My daughter and I, she's 25, we both want to go watch it. She grew up with Barbies and I did too, so love the Barbie theme. I've never done a Barbie junk journal before, but it inspired me to do one. And this will be available in my Etsy shop when I have it completed, and I hope it's not, you know, not too late. Okay, so I have that, and I'll show you what I left the length here because I'm going to wrap it around and go to the inside of the book. So it's continuous along the top. I have done it where you cut a piece for the outside and cut a piece for the inside. That works just fine too, but it's just easier to do it this way. So now I'm going to cut the back piece. And what I like to do with the back is cut a piece leaving like an inch around all of the sides, and then you fold it in, and then we cover it up on the inside with paper, all the seams. So this one, so we have this here. And looking at the ends here, I'm going to have to cut these salvage edges off because I don't want to have to deal with that. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get rid of these salvage edges. At least this one end anyway. All right. Oops. Kind of got a little jagged there. So I'm going to line this up where I have this here. I'm going to use the twine that is from the Dollar Tree. It's thinner. This that I have, it came in a bundle from, I think, Michael's or something, but it is quite a bit thicker and it would leave an impression. You just need something in there that's thin, that will fit in that little groove, and then you can cover it up. I'll probably just use like a little piece of paper right there to cover that piece. So you just have to add some tacky glue in the groove there. Oh. And put the string down in there, or the twine. Trim it off at the end there. I will do that on the other side as well, on my back cover. As I said, this just adds a little bit of stability to the cover, and then I'm going to take a piece of paper and just put it over the top. Just have a thin piece of cardstock. It's probably 65 pound. And I'm just going to cut off a piece. Let's see, probably 3/4 of an inch strip. Suppose you want to see that. Actually, I'm going to cut this to 8 and then cut 2 pieces of 3/4 inch. Alrighty. And I'm just going to glue that right down onto the top of that. That'll just make it a little more sturdy. And if you don't want to mess with this, just do it the other way that I said. You can just cut it off right there and go on your merry way. You don't have to do all this. But if you don't want to have to cut down your pages and you risk like ruining one of the pages of the book because it's too, you have to cut off too much on the side, then this is what you want to do. I'm just going to line it up with the edge and press it down. Do the same on the back cover. And this was not my idea. I'm not sure. I watched another YouTube video on this. I'm not sure if it was, I don't remember. I don't remember who it was that has done this. Realize I didn't stick this down, but I think it's fine. I didn't put books underneath, or not underneath, but on top. That seems to be doing okay. Alright, so now we got that taken care of. The inside, you could do the same thing on the inside, but that makes it pretty sturdy. And we're going to be covering it up with fabric and paper on the inside of the cover. So now what we want to do is take the glue again. I've got a big chunk right there. Take that off. I'm going to put glue where we have our piece of paper here, because that's where we're going to put our fabric, the spine fabric. I always put my glue down and then smooth it out with my finger. You could use like a little paintbrush or something if you don't want glue on your finger. And then remember to leave a piece down at the bottom, like 3/4 inch. And then you're just going to put your fabric right down on top of that. And the seam I'm going to cover up with the rickrack, so that will be fine. And then now we want to put glue on the spine piece. Smooth it out. I like to smooth it out just so it has a nice stick to it, like it's even when the fabric sticks down. There isn't any little puckering holes or anything. I'm going to turn this over. It'll make it easier to line it up. So I have fabric that way. Just going to stick this right down. Make sure you line it up at the top of the bottom, and you leave a little thin sliver, probably about the thickness of your chipboard, just so you can see it just slightly. And then I'm going to turn it over and smooth it out. Just make sure it's all nice and smooth. All right, turn it back over. Like that. And now what you want to do is put your glue on this side, and you can kind of tell like where it's about 3/4 of an inch in, so just a little past this, I think. Oops. Make sure you're going the right direction, even though that's going to be covered up. Just lay this down here. Do the same, leaving the little sliver. Push this down. And then turn it over and make sure it's all smoothed out. Just be careful so you don't pull it up. All right, now we just need to add our back, and then we'll do the flip over on the inside. Oops. Got glue on my hands. Okay, I'm gonna rub some of this off. So it doesn't get globby on the back. I'm going to go ahead and put glue all over the back. I know this is messy. If you know of a really good sticky double-sided tape, maybe you can use that. I don't really like the spray glue because it's just so messy and it gets everywhere, and I don't know. And you have a very limited amount of time before it dries that you can set your project down. So I just think tacky glue or some sort of liquid glue that's thicker is the way to go. But that's just my opinion. And if you have a better way that you have done glued fabric to things like this, then by all means just use whatever you're comfortable with. Just smooth it out again. You can do it in small sections if you want. I'm just used to doing it this way because I've done it many times. So okay, now we're going to put our fabric down. Just line it up with the edge of that spine fabric. I'm gonna put rickrack there. You can put rickrack, or a grosgrain ribbon is really good because it's thicker. You just want something thicker that the liquid glue isn't going to show through. All right, so this is good. I'm going to turn this over, and we're going to do the edges. So what I like to do, you don't necessarily need all of this in here, so I'm going to trim a little bit off. I'm going to go down to about 1/2 inch. So you could, I just like to have a little bit extra just in case something happens that I accidentally get it in the wrong, just want a little leeway. But when you have it all glued down, then you can trim it a little bit. And on the corner, I just like to cut off the corner, so it makes a nice crisp corner when you cut it off. That's a little wonky, but it's going to be covered up. Now, I'll cut off a little bit here. Hopefully I'm in frame here. Trying to finish this up. We're going to do this and cover the inside, and then we'll be done with this video. Next time I'll show you how to sew the signatures in, and we'll put pockets and everything on the inside of the covers and everything. I just don't want this to be super duper long, and hopefully you've stuck with this. So now I'm just going to put some glue along the edges. I'm going to start with the bottom here in my corner. Smooth it out. I'm going to start with the corner here and then move up, just kind of push it along from the bottom, smooth as you can get it. Now we'll work our way around this edge. Pulling the corner down first. That, and then pull this in. And then we'll do the top edge. I'm just going to do this first, and then I'll show you how to do the spine part. Okay, now you're just going to do the same, but you're going to put glue down following the line all the way down there, and then the same on that side. Just kind of draw a line with your glue. Do the inside. This you could definitely do in sections. Alright. Just do this. Get a nice thin layer down, like what we did on the front, and then we'll go, just make sure you're lined up with the bottom here, and just smooth it out. Okay, with the bottom part, what we're going to do is we're going to cut it off down here a little bit, leaving just as much as we had left when we cut the other parts off. Don't need all that. And then I'm going to put some glue right along the top of this part, and we're going to glue it. You could either cut it off and go straight, or if you want to, actually that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put glue here. You could, if you don't want the rough the rougher edge, you could fold it under and do that. It's just a little bit harder. So I'm just going to put some glue down and we'll go all the way down to the edge and then we'll trim it off. And I think that it looks just as fine. Okay, just don't want to smooth it out. All right, just smooth that out. And I'm going to let it dry before I trim that off. So what we need to do now is cut our papers to cover these sections. So I have, let me get this stuff here. I brought out this paper and these. I actually bought 4 of this paper, so I'm going to use this to cover the inside. And then this is the paper that I will use to make the pockets, but I'm going to do that the next time. I just want to get done with this and not, you know, like I said, not have this video be, it's already probably long. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to cut these. I kind of line it up here because I do put rickrack on the inside too. So I'm just going to cut it off. And I can leave a little edge along of the fabric, so that's what I'm going to do. And use a pen, it'll probably be easier. I'm just going to make a little mark on the back actually. Not sure if I want to do it. I think I want to do it this way. I'm going to go this way and mark it here. And then mark it down at the bottom. And do that. You need to do that for your front and back. The front's going to be different because you don't have the fabric. So I'm going to cut this one first. And then this will just glue down here. Do the same with this. Now this is a thinner paper. It's the pattern paper from Hobby Lobby. So you definitely want to smooth out your glue so that you don't have, so you can't see the wads or the lines of glue underneath there. So that's what I'm going to do. Smooth it out. Whoops. And I just go along the edge. Probably not do it on top of your book. And then we'll go push it down on top, lining it up with the edge of your fabric. Sorry, whoa, I'm way up there. And then just smooth it out. Now, if you want to put a ribbon in here, you would need to cut your ribbon and glue it down underneath. I'm probably going to be using some cardstock, and I'll show you that when we finish the cover the next time. Because this is a thin paper, you would definitely see it puckering under there. Or you could just tie all the way around, and I may do that too. I'm just not sure. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and trim this since it's dried a little bit. Trim it off here. There. Alright, so that's what it looks like so far. And now we're going to cover this. So this one, you want to go all the way to the edge of your book. So I'm going to first mark it for the width, and then we'll mark it for the length down at the bottom. Move it over a little bit. Just want to make sure I'm lined up here. That. And we'll go ahead and trim that off. Okay, I'm going to do it a little bit, it'll be a little bit easier if you just put it on the cover so you don't risk ripping the paper. I should have done that on the other side. It's just easier to glue when it's down on the table than trying to hold a piece of paper and put glue on it and rub it. Alright, smooth it out. Okay. All right, that there. Okay, now I'm going to put my rickrack on the edge. This part is all folded, so I'm just going to cut that off and put one line of tacky glue down the seam. And do that on the front here. All right, I like to leave a little bit down at the bottom because it's not even right now. I didn't cut it even, and I'll cut it off here, but not totally to the end, and I'll let those dry, and then I'll trim it off. Okay, and I will do that. I'll have to let this dry. I'll do the rickrack the same on the inside, and then I'll come back and we'll just kind of close out this video you won't notice any time difference because I will stop the camera, but just so you know, cut that off and I'll be right back. Alright, so here is my cover. All I have to do is add the pockets, but we'll do that in the next video. But I wanted to show you that I did cut out a Barbie flower to put here, just to kind of carry the pink over. So I think that turned out really cute. And then I haven't decided if I'm going to glue in ties or just use ribbon to tie around the whole thing. We'll see. I may use, since she's got a ballet skirt on, I might use some pink tulle and just make a gathered thing that like bow to tie around it. So yeah, I think that would be cool. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and subscribe. If you're following along, let me know down below. And I know that this is a long video, so if you stuck through to the end here, thank you so much. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next time. This is Kim with Creative Crafticality. Bye. God bless.